Media.
Sihat ke semua?
Kurang media.
Boring jadi
Alhamdulillah.
lupa kan?
Kena buat COVID test sekejap lagi media lepas habis kelas.
Oh ya? Why? Close
Because for
contact ke?
3 days saya rasa demam sesama, sakit tekak, batuk. Dan jadi rasa macam tak betul.
Okay. So hopefully baik-baik je lah semua And as you all know,
Ya,
saya
insyaAllah.
daripada rumah sebab daerah Mualim ni PKPD sampai 4th of June. So very quiet. Cuma dekat rumah ni, please bear with me lah kan. Ada bunyi ayam lah, ada bunyi burung lah, bunyi kucing lah, bunyi orang renovate rumah lah. So anyway, kita tengok lah what we can do today. Right, so for today, we're going to look at a new topic, which is zakat planning, and I really hope that all of you have already checked the YouTube channel with the link. Sebab I actually uploaded the link in my guru under web conferencing but in case you miss it and you're not sure which is which. So you can go straight to the YouTube channel and find, I have for both groups, Group A and also Group B. It's just that for last week class, I have to share with you the Friday's lecture for Group A because kita tak ada class last week. So maybe it's not too late for me to say Selamat Hari Raya. So berada dalam rumah, tepi rumah, belakang rumah je kan. Cannot go outside of your house. So sambil-sambil kelas, don't worry, you can eat your kuih raya kalau ada lagi. Saya tak ada kuih raya dengan saya sekarang, ada coffee. So alright, so for today, if you look at our syllabus, kita dah tak ada banyak, we don't have much topic left actually. So we have trust, estate and settlement for last week. So I compressed everything for 1 week only, but for zakat planning ni, I think maybe we can do it in 2 parts. So this week for part 1 and maybe next week for part 2 because there's quite a lot to cover under zakat planning. Okay, so for your information, those of you who have already taken taxation 1, or maybe if we can refer back to our earlier topic, which is on personal rebates and relief too. We have actually have the portion for rebates under zakat, but kita cuma dapat one lump sum figure je. But in this case, what we're going to look at under zakat planning, we have a variety types of zakat. But what we have done so far, especially for an individual, normally itu ialah zakat, we call it zakat pendapatan, okay? And mainly coming from the employment, which means we get the figure which is 2.5% from the employment income, okay? But for this topic, kita akan tengok lah, we have a lot of different types of zakat. So for non-Muslim, the concept of zakat is very simple. It is actually Islamic taxation. Okay, so conventionally we have a taxation. So for Muslim, we have a concept similar to taxation, but we call it zakat. All right, so let me share with you the slide. All right, so we call this, I put under zakat planning, whereby I have both zakat planning, zakat and tax planning subtopic, and also application of zakat. So here we're talking about different types of wealth. So as you can see here, the introduction, basically these are the points that we're going to cover. So first of all, we have, of course, the introduction about zakat planning, the importance of zakat and the conditions of paying zakat, the beneficiaries, the zakat system in Malaysia, the main types of zakat, whereby we are going to look at both the zakat fitrah and also zakat on wealth. Alright, so for zakat and wealth ni, kita ada a few different types of zakat lah. We have zakat on agricultural products and also livestock, zakat on gold, money, shares and also investment, zakat on takaful product, zakat on business, especially for sole proprietor, for zakat on business and also for public listed company. And we have, to summarize everything, we are going to look at zakat and also tax planning. But I think for the zakat and tax planning part ni, in this note, saya ingat saya belum masukkan, I stop at zakat on business rasanya. But never mind, if we don't have time this week, we can continue with zakat and tax planning. Definitely we're going to do that next week for zakat and tax planning. Saya tak perasan so the notes is actually up to zakat on business je. Alright, so why this is important? So it's quite lengthy and you can read this part. So when we talk about zakat, we are actually talking about okay, we're talking about wealth. So it is one of the obligations that need to be fulfilled. So here, while according to the Islamic religion, not only we are encouraged to accumulate wealth, we are also encouraged to, payable due to other Muslims in the society. So zakat is paid not as a gift, but act of returning the right of others in one's wealth. So it is an obligatory form of charity of the 5 pillars of Islam. I don't think I will go into detail. So because I know you have done Sharia financial planning kan, so maybe ada a few topics on zakat. So for Muslim, I think this should be no problem for us. And we have 5 pillars. One of them is actually to pay zakat. So we also have the verse from the Quran, which is Surah At-Tawbah, verse 103 ni, Surah 9. Alright, so from their wealth, a charity by which you purify them and cause them increase and invoke Allah blessing upon them. So indeed your invocations are reassurance for them and Allah is hearing and knowing. So zakat payment can be used as measurement of one's wealth and his compliance to Islamic teaching. So it is compulsory on wealth of the Muslim that meets the criteria, okay, pronounced by the Sharia. So as a financial planner, you might wonder, okay, why you have to learn about zakat? And it is very important because zakat should also be included in the financial planning of a Muslim individual. Right, so later on, when you finish your study and you become a financial advisor or wealth advisor and you have a Muslim individual as your client, so it is very important for you to include zakat element as well in advising the client, okay? Alright, so the importance of zakat, again, it is an Islamic teaching. So I highlighted the paying the zakat here. So dalam rukun Islam kita, salah satunya is bayar zakat lah. So in other words, we can say that this zakat actually purifies and cleanses the wealth, strengthen the love between the rich and poor, take away hatred, and important for Muslims to fulfill their zakat obligations because so we have 3 points here. So as a reminder, the ultimate owner of things is Allah. So perceived as act of worship also. And then we also have the different verses in our Quran saying that something like what we have in Surah Al-Baqarah here. So spend of the good things which we have legally earned and of that which we have produced from the earth for you. Okay, so since it is an annual obligation, so we hope that the poverty could be minimized. And so here are actually a few verses that is actually related to the importance of zakat. Alright, so this one, the lengthy part, you can read later. Alright, so the meaning of zakat. So if you wonder, kita ambil the literally meaning, cleansing or purifying of something from death or filth. Okay, praise, growth, and increase. So legally, it is a transfer of ownership of specific wealth to specific recipients under specific conditions. Okay. Alright, so you might wonder what's the difference between zakat and charity kan? So bunyi cakap bayar zakat macam something like when you give charity to other people. So this is the difference. For zakat it is obligatory. Charity is not. So it is up to you to to conduct a charity activity. Rates for zakat, it is a specific rate. We have fixed and sometimes non-fixed rate because in Malaysia all the Islamic regulations are actually under the purview of the state. Dia bukan under federal government, dia di bawah kerajaan negeri masing-masing. So it's quite different from one state to another. So for charity, the rate is not applicable. It is up to the giver, how much you want to provide for the charity. So the recipient of zakat is very specific. Kita akan tengok later, there are 8 beneficiaries of zakat. So for charity, it's also not applicable. You can even do charity to animals. You can provide animal shelter. You nak jaga, not necessarily you kena bagi dekat human or people. So the terms, it is actually defined for zakat, but for charity is very general. Type of wealth also is defined under zakat. Not all type of wealth is zakatable. When I did my RFP courses few years ago, that was the first time saya dengar they use the word zakatable. So zakatable means the zakat or the type of wealth that is actually subject to zakat. Okay, so it is defined for type of wealth, which means, for example, kita ada wealth tadi lah, we have gold, we have money, we have investment, we have takaful. But for charity, it is not defined. You can give charity dalam bentuk apa sekalipun. It is up to you. So management system, zakat is according to Quran and Sunnah, and charity depend on giver. Payment sequence, okay, ini ialah annual payment. The charity is depends. Frequency annually, not applicable. Claimable from the deceased, yes, becoming a debt. But for charity, no. Minor and insane, not accepted. Okay, if for the minor and insane, they are not obliged to pay zakat. Okay, so this is basically some differences between zakat and also charity. Alright, so these are, like I mentioned before, there are conditions for us for paying zakat. And you cannot simply kata, okay, zakat ni anybody can pay, or you can pay any amount that you like. No, there are certain conditions that need to be fulfilled before it is compulsory for that individual to pay zakat. Okay. First one, of course, payer must be a Muslim. So non-Muslim are not obliged to pay zakat. So in case you wonder, alamak, do non-Muslim pay zakat? No, it is not. They are not obliged to pay zakat. Full ownership. The ownership of the wealth must be full. Tak boleh lah harta tu pinjam or harta tu kongsi. So you must have the full ownership. Because later on you will, I will introduce to you certain terms. For example, tak ada the word house ini. Some of the words we still maintain the Arabic words. Kita tak translate. For example, how lah. So kita akan tengok nanti what does that means. And we can say that the person must have absolute freedom to manage and gain benefit from the wealth without any limitation and restriction. Okay, full ownership. Free, a free person. Okay, long time ago, kita ada konsep slave kan, but now not anymore. So everybody is considered a free person. D is full house. Full house means the wealth is kept for a full year. Okay, satu house, sometimes you can hear, when people talk, they say, oh, ni belum cukup house. House means a full year. Okay. So the wealth must be kept for a full year. So it is defined as the completion period for a zakatable wealth. So you must own the wealth or the property or the wealth, we call it wealth. You must own the wealth for a full year as the completion period for wealth to in order for you to pay that zakat. So actual zakat how is actually using tahun hijrah, which is equivalent to 354 days complete. Macam sekarang kita bulan Syawal but in kalender yang bukan hijrah ni, it's actually in May now. So the timing tu lari sikit. However, due to practicality in tracking and doing zakat assessment, so zakat institution accept the usage of Masihi year and maintain the same rate of zakat. Okay, this also can ease zakat payers in performing their obligation. So latest fatwa kutipan zakat Selangor, yes, you can see along as we go along this topic, I've quoted a lot of Selangor kita kata rulings lah. Like I said, all these Islamic regulations, it is actually up to the state. So in case you wonder, kenapa kat Kelantan macam ni, Terengganu macam ni? Yes, memang different. But kita guna the generally untuk kita, to compare. So I use Zakat Selangor. So here, for example, Fatwa Kutipan Zakat Selangor decided to prorate the extra 11 days by imposing rate 2.577 instead of 2.5%. Okay. So kalau Hijri year 354, it should be 2.5%. So Masihi year, we have 365 days, so they dah prorate. That will give us 2.577. But certain state masih lagi maintain 2.5. So if you are in Pahang, for example, you might want to go and check Majlis Agama Islam Pahang. So you go to the website, there is a section untuk zakat, and then you can browse there. So it's a bit different from what I'm going to share here. But basically the concept is similar, right? So for example, the conditions for paying zakat, okay, ini memang kena ada lah, one A, B, C, D ni Alright, E, the wealth achieve the nisab. Okay, tadi satu kita ada one Arabic word here, haul, okay, which means completion period, which means one full year. It's either Hijri year or Masihi year. And the wealth must also achieve the nisab. Nisab means the minimum rate. Okay, if let's say you have something but that wealth does not achieve the minimum rate, you don't have to pay zakat. Okay, sama macam kita buat tax lah kan. Kita kira we calculate the chargeable income. If the person's chargeable income is less than 5,000 a year, then they don't have to pay taxes. Okay, sama juga konsep dia. So what is nisab? Okay, it is a threshold of wealth in order for the Muslim to be obliged to give zakat. So remember, lagi banyak, the more you have, the more wealth you have, the more zakat you have to pay. So the amount depends on the types of wealth. Okay, this is different. For example, for gold, the minimum rate is 85 grams. So if you own gold more than 85 grams, you have to pay zakat. Okay? Or if you have silver more than 595 grams, then you have to pay zakat. For livestock, we have cows, buffaloes, goat, and also goats, sheep, and camel. Okay? For currencies and liquid investment, kita gunakan 85 grams of gold. Okay, we are going to look at the examples later, but basically these are the examples of nisab, which means the minimum rate, right? So if you own less than this figure, then don't worry, you don't have to pay zakat for the wealth that you own. Any question tak so far? Tak ada So please stop me if you have questions to ask. Okay, tadi kita tengok the conditions of paying zakat, and now the beneficiaries. You cannot simply give zakat to anybody that you like. Tak boleh. There are other conditions or beneficiaries that we have to fulfill. Because if you go back to the table tadi, the difference between charity and zakat tadi kan, untuk charity it can be anybody. Animal pun boleh. Right? For zakat tak. Zakat ada 8 beneficiaries sahaja. Why 8? Okay, this is according to our Holy Quran, Surah At-Taubah. So it states that there are 8 beneficiaries of zakat. First one is hardcore poor. Okay, kita katakan in Arabic it is called fuqara, hardcore poor, who has neither material possession nor means of livelihood, one who suffers and has no means to sustain his or her daily needs. Okay, maknanya whatever he or she earns, it is actually less than half of apa yang dia perlukan. Okay, itu we call that hardcore poor. Poor, okay, ada beza hardcore poor ni, fakir, miskin lah. So kalau if you look at our Malay word kan, kita ada fakir, kita ada miskin. Right, so fakir tu hardcore poor, and then masakin for the poor, one with insufficient means of livelihood to meet basic needs. Okay, orang kata kais pagi makan pagi tu kan. Okay, so this is the poor. And then we also have the hardcore poor, memang tak cukup. Apa yang dia dapat is only half of apa yang diperlukan je. Not cukup-cukup. Kalau ini cukup-cukup lah. Yang ni tak cukup pun. So we have amil, which is the zakat worker who are appointed by the Muslim ruler to collect and distribute zakat. Mu'alaf, revert, non-Muslim who embrace Islam or have the potential to embrace Islam. So those yang just revert to Islam, they are also one of the beneficiaries of zakat. Okay, we have Ariqab, to free the captives, wants to free himself from bondage or the shackles of slavery. Ini pun kita jarang ada lah. Gharimin, those people in debt. Okay, money borrowed to meet basic and halal expenditure. Bukan kita kata those people in debt sebab apa dia berhutang, sebab dia banyak gambling. No, tak boleh. So here in debt, money borrowed to meet basic and halal expenditure only. This is the only kita kata people lah who can get benefit from zakat. Gharimin, people in debt. Wayfarer, who stranded in journey. Okay, the zakat existence usually in the form of financial assistance and return ticket. Okay, ini yang stranded somewhere. And we have fisabilillah, in the way of Allah. Okay, so students in schools, universities, you are actually masuk dalam kategori ni lah. So some dia rasa zakat is only for miskin je. Orang miskin je dah layak dapat zakat. Kalau dia rasa dia tak miskin, so dia tak layak. No. Yes, kita ada hardcore and hardcore poor and hardcore poor, one of the beneficiaries, but you must remember ada lagi satu kategori yang dekat bawah ni. Sebab tu if I don't know, maybe some of you pernah apply dengan kita punya pusat zakat dekat UPSI kan. So dia memang ada some yang pernah share with me, they said that hantar je borang memang akan dapat lah. So I'm not sure how true is that, tapi that's what they said sebab kita memang ada banyak sangat, in fact staff ni ada yang buat potongan gaji lagi just untuk zakat kepada UPSI students So because this is considered as any effort to uphold Islam, those one who strive in the cause of Allah for the betterment of the community. Termasuk anda semua yang masih lagi belajar. Okay. Alright, so a little bit on the zakat system in Malaysia. Alright, so again, like I mentioned before, according to our federal constitution, list 2 of schedule 9, okay, federal constitution kita kata zakat, fitrah and all the Islamic religious revenue under the purview of state government. Right, that is why we have a different rulings for different state. Right, so some state yang memang ada proper, or kita kata a very clear cut rulings. For example, we have Selangor, we have Wilayah Persekutuan KL, we have Kedah, we have Sarawak, even Negeri Sembilan. Those of you from Negeri Sembilan, you know kan, ada adat pepatih semua tu, it is actually under the purview of the state government. So cara pembahagian harta semua, if you already learn estate planning kan, ada faraid kan, but for adat pepatih cuba tengok dia lain sikit kan. It is not the general faraid yang kita apply. So again, it is according to the state government, not the federal government. So all the religious matters, so in fact now, if you listen to our Menteri Pak Mail, whenever he mentioned about all these PKP and whatnot ni, so kalau orang tanya, okay, masjid buka tak, berapa orang boleh pergi masjid, depending on the state government. Ada state tutup terus masjid, ada state kata boleh 20 orang je, ada state kata 50 je. So depending on the state government, not the federal government. Okay. So all the administrative rulings about zakat in Malaysia ni under the respective Islamic Council of each state. That's why I said if you are from Kedah, Perak, you can go to Majlis Agama Islam, call it Majlis Islamic Council, Majlis Agama Islam setiap negeri. So they have a different operations, different services provided, especially in administering zakat, and they are actually different from one state to another. Okay. So in the early days of zakat collection in Malaysia, dulu lama dulu, the emphasis was only on zakat fitrah. So since we are still in bulan Syawal, so you must know your father, particularly before raya akan pergi bayar zakat fitrah. Okay, zakat fitrah is different from zakat on wealth. So zakat fitrah kita bayar sebelum raya je, during Ramadan up to before sunset on the first day of Syawal. That is called zakat fitrah. Okay, dan selalunya dibayar oleh head of the family, your father lah. But you nak bayar sendiri, if you have income, you can pay for yourself. So dulu, the emphasis was only on zakat fitrah, there's less on zakat on wealth. In fact, kita kata awareness pun tak ada. Tapi lama-lama, recent years, so Islamic Council ni lebih proaktif and then they actually encourage the employer untuk buat macam buat like what we have with zakat. Kita ada monthly deduction kan. So zakat pun sama, ada monthly deduction juga for zakat, because the Majlis Agama Islam negeri ni dah proaktif compared to before. Okay, so to increase the type of zakat being collected and also the number of zakat payer. Okay, and then it is very easy to pay, ada ATM, kiosk, internet transfer. You don't have to pergi counter queue nak bayar zakat, tak perlu, no need. Semua boleh klik, then settle. And also the disbursement of zakat collected under the responsibility of the Islamic Religious Council juga. Right? Remember, we have 8 beneficiaries tadi. Okay, so as a zakat payer, we pay zakat. So this Majlis Agama Islam, they will disburse the zakat lah according to the 8 beneficiaries tadi. And they have their own definition. Or maybe in Selangor, the poor, the people that is considered poor ada certain amount. Mungkin di state lain yang consider poor tu certain amount. So amount dia tak sama lah ikut state. In fact, assistance also provided through, for example, untuk recipient zakat ni, untuk single mother ada fund to start small business and financial assistance for those who, ini saya kata tadi lah, ada untuk those of you who pursue their studies in higher learning institutions. Masuk universiti, okay boleh ya, ada portion kat situ, one of the beneficiaries of zakat in Malaysia. In fact, if you compare with overseas pun tak sama So this is not just like taxation lah, you compare with other countries pun memang tak sama lah. Alright, the main types of zakat. Kita ada dua je kalau ikutkan. We only have two broad categories of zakat, which are zakat fitrah and also zakat on wealth. Zakat on wealth ni ada variety sikit lah for zakat on wealth ni. So first of all, let's look at zakat fitrah. This one, like I said, the word fitrah comes from Arabic word, which means the same as iftar lah, breaking a fast. And comes from the same root word as futur, which means breakfast. So zakat fitrah is also known as zakat of body and zakat of Ramadan. Okay. So for zakat fitrah, it is compulsory for every Muslim. Make zakat fitrah compulsory on every slave, free man, male, female, young and old among the Muslim. Okay. Due from the starting of Ramadan and ends before the Idul Fitri prayer lah. Okay, so mula masuk bulan Ramadan ni sampailah sebelum solat Hari Raya Aidilfitri tu, itulah tempoh yang compulsory untuk bayar. So the head of household may pay the required amount for the other members. So those of you who watch TV, kalau tengok bulan puasa tu kan dia ada, okay, RM7 boleh, RM14 pun boleh, nak lagi bakal RM21. That is the rate for zakat fitrah. Dia ikut harga beras sebenarnya. So if mampu RM7, then you pay RM7 per person. Let's say you have 5 in the household, 7 times 5 lah. If you want to pay RM14, so there are 5 of you in the household, so your father will bayar lah whatever amount according to the number of household. Okay. So the conditions of zakat fitrah are again Muslim, right? Non-Muslim is not obliged to pay zakat. Owns food, asset or money that is more than enough for his basic need and the basic need of his dependents for one full day. The day and night of first Shawwal. Able to live between two periods, end of Ramadan and beginning of Shawwal. So a person who has passed away before the sunset or a child born after the sunset on the night of first Shawwal is not obliged to pay. Okay. So able to live between two periods lah, maknanya end of Ramadan sampailah masuk ke Shawwal tu. Alright, these are the periods on performing zakat fitrah. Generally macam tadi lah daripada masuk last day of Ramadan sampailah sunrise the next day. It is actually the obligatory time between sunset on the last day and the sunrise the next day. Afdal or more preferred time after the sunset on the last day until before Hari Raya Aidilfitri. Ini waktu paling sibuk lah. So permissible time, that is why sometimes in shopping mall pun kita nampak ada counter untuk zakat fitrah during Ramadan. So throughout the month of Ramadan. Okay, bila-bila pun boleh buat payment. Not preferred after Hari Raya prayer but before sunset on the first Shawwal. So kalau ikutkan obligatory time is sunrise. So sunrise maknanya by subuh lah. Ni Hari Raya kita sembahyang pukul 9 kan. Dah lambat dah waktu duha dah. So tak boleh lah makruh. Haram if after sunset. Dah malam, lepas maghrib pun nak bayar. So tak boleh lah. Alright. So what is the main purpose of zakat fitrah? Fitrah is to provide the poor with the means which they can celebrate the festival of breaking the fast along with the rest of the Muslim. Okay. So the rest ni I think you can baca jugalah. So but here in Malaysia untuk zakat fitrah ni kita ambil value of money instead of food. Kita tak adalah bayar zakat dalam bentuk beras. Kita bayar harga beras tu. So payment in the form of money can benefit the recipients if their need are not just food. And from the view of administrator, it is more economic, more efficient and more effective. Nak pergi bawa 7 kampit beras pergi bayar zakat kan, so it's very quite tedious. So bayar dalam bentuk cash je. So dekat sini example ada untuk 2017. So RM7 for the year 2017. So state religious authority review the amount from time to time based on the market value of rice. Okay, memang ikut harga beras. So zakat fitrah sometimes varies from one state to another and will change year by year. Macam mana nak tahu, you go to the counter and then they will tell you how much is the zakat fitrah rate. Bayar online pun boleh. Okay, before we move on further, I have 3 self-assessment questions. Can you try to answer this question first? All right, what is the answer for A? A, B, C, or D?
D.
D, all right, all of the above. Number 2?
C.
Number 2, C. Number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 pun all of the above, True, dia kata. So true, A, how is defined as a completion period? Yes. Possession of wealth from 1 Hijrah year, 354, yes. Zakatable wealth must meet the full howl, yes. So all are true, Saya bagi soalan multiple choice je dekat sini,
Madam, tapi dia nak accept.
Accept. Yelah, tak ada. Semua true.
Oh,
Semua true. Alright, so as for now, we have look at the conditions for paying zakat, the beneficiaries, and also a little bit on zakat fitrah. Okay, so untuk zakat fitrah ni is very clear cut, so tak ada, there is not much issue lah. Just that you should know the period of performing zakat fitrah tu bila, and then the amount pun actually depending on the state, which is kita tengok the price of ataupun kita kata the market value of rice. Okay. That is zakat fitrah. Next one, we have zakat on wealth. Okay, ini banyak sikit. So for zakat on wealth ni, what we have here for zakat on wealth ni is actually kita kata the condition dia, the condition of zakatability is that wealth must be actually growing or have the potential for growth. So growth means apa? Okay, bukanlah harta tu membesar kan? So growth means something that provides the owner with profit and benefit. Right, for example, you have money, you save money in bank, kan? So every year the bank will pay you interest or profit, if it is an Islamic account, so you will have a profit. So itulah maksudnya growth, kan? So the money that you keep in the bank, there is a possibility of growth, So that is considered as kita kata zakatability lah, So all the asset itself should be a result of growth, being surplus of newly accrued item. Actual growth is the increase of by genetic or business reasons. Potential growth is when the asset can increase if it is used properly for that purpose. So in principle, all growing assets are subject to zakat. So if you go back to the list of zakat on wealth yang saya letak awal-awal tadi, we have zakat on money, zakat on gold. You know how much the price of the gold now kan? Crazy. And then we have cow, buffalo, sheep. Sama jugalah, anak lembu harga dia lain kan. Bila umur dah besar sikit, for example you nak buat akikah, korban semua tu, okay, harga dia lain kan. So daripada newborn sampailah umur like 1 year or 2 years, so the price is different. So actual growth ni increase by genetic juga. Sebab tu kita ada zakat on livestock. Okay, kerbau, lembu, kambing, camel. Right. So zakat on wealth could be classified into, alright, so these are the different types of zakat on wealth. So in case you wonder, kita ada agricultural products. Tapi di Malaysia ni, zakat untuk agricultural product hanya untuk padi je. Untuk gandum apa semua tu tak ada, just for padi. Livestock, okay, untuk livestock we have goat, sheep, cow, buffalo and also camel. Ini untuk peternak-peternak yang memang ada a lot of cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep kan. Memang bisnes dia ialah bela kambing untuk korban contohnya. So they have to pay livestock zakat. Okay. Gold, okay, ini yang saya kata harga sekarang memang crazy. Those days 100 lebih pun dah rasa mahal. Now I think the last time I checked RM270 per gram. Okay. So you ada harap lah, nak dapat 1 gelang pun bukan 1 gram kan. So at least like 15 gram. So it's a very good investment. Anyway, so gold is the origin of ruling for all derivation of money or currency. Ini the oldest system lah kita gunakan gold. Belongs to the same type of asset, must be combined for the purpose of meeting nisab. Alright, I just want to show you that there are a few wealth yang we actually can combine. Kita combine, dapatkan satu figure and then kita multiply by 2.5%. But for the purpose of you learning, I have actually separated all the different types of zakat on wealth. But in fact, in Malaysia, nanti later saya boleh share the website how you can key in how much zakat that you have to pay. Dia combine je semua. Right? So for gold ni must be combined for the purpose of meeting the nisab. So the derivation, nisab tadi ingat nisab is the minimum amount tadi, the threshold. So derivation of the asset that based on gold are, kita ada gold, money in the form of takaful product, EPF, etc. Investment in shares, unit trust atau public mutual apa semua tu. Ini semua masuk dalam satu kategori. Okay. Silver, silver jewelry and non-jewelry. Mineral, okay, mineral. Kalau ada different types of mineral lah, tapi yang ni kita tak ada fokus sangat lah sebab tak banyak. And also income, alright. Income ni based on gold nisab must be combined juga, belongs to the same type of zakatable asset. Zakat income from employment, income from freelance and professional, income from rental, income from gift and donation. Right, so basically income ni apa yang what we have learned so far under our taxation. Kita ada employment income, kita ada rental income kan. We in fact ada donation juga. So gift so ini semua kena bayar lah. Later kita tengok. Alright, so another thing is that since kita kata zakat ni coming from our Holy Quran, so zakatable asset must be only from the halal source. Okay, if there is any impermissible amount, first and foremost, one must repent for engaging in prohibited activities. So zakat is not binding upon wealth acquired from haram sources like gambling, interest and sales of prohibited item. Okay, the total amount of money acquired from unlawful activities must be given all in charity. You cannot pay zakat based on haram sources. Okay, so money acquired unlawfully belongs lawfully to the owner of the wealth. Faham tak ayat ni? Cara dapat duit tu maybe unlawful, but the owner is the lawful owner of the wealth. If they cannot be traced, one must dispense such wealth in charity as the amount is not lawfully yours. So unlawful wealth is a liability which must be dispensed and will be deductible from one's zakatable asset for the missed year. Okay, so it is important to note that again, not all the property or assets is actually zakatable. For example, land, buildings, vehicle, precious stone and so on is not subject to zakat. Okay, yang tak subject to zakat tadi yang ni je. Ni masuk kategori ni je, nampak tak? You ada kereta Ferrari, kereta sport semua, you don't have to pay zakat sebab dia tak termasuk dalam kategori zakat. Alright, so first of all, let's look at zakat on agricultural product and livestock. Saya combine je agricultural product and livestock. So in Malaysia, agricultural product ni ada satu je, which is padi. So it is imposed on Muslim whether they are in the forms of cereals or fruit. So agricultural product other non-basic food, zakat on business will be imposed on them instead of zakat on agricultural product if they are traded. So normally untuk agricultural ni dia akan masuk dalam business income lah, because normally yang tanam padi tu dijual kan. So it is considered as zakat on business. Okay. The rate for zakat on agricultural produce depends on the method of watering the plants. Sounds funny, tapi this is how they come up with the rate. So let's say sources which are taken from well, pond or treated water, 5% zakat. So natural resources for rain, 10% zakat. Nampak tak? Kalau dia apa ni? Kita kata when the farmer tu dia spend some money untuk macam ni kan, treated water. So dia plant ataupun dia water the plants tu guna yang canggih-canggih sikit ni, so the rate of zakat is lower. Natural resources tak ada buat apa-apa, tunggu hujan je. So 10% zakat is higher. So most agricultural produce today are not watered naturally and also need some extra works. Of course, fertilizing, insect disease controlling. So in Malaysia, zakat on padi is levied at 5%. So zakat on crop, the rate of 10% is a new academic today. Okay, ni tak ada pula, like I said, so just for padi je. And how we come up with padi sahaja, okay, it is again according to Surah Al-An'am, eat their fruit when they ripen, but the juice thereof on the day of its harvest, and waste not by extravagance. Verily he likes not those who waste by extravagance. Okay. Alright, so many states have determined zakat on agricultural produce only imposed on paddy. So it must be paid after harvested at the rate of 5% from the total crops, excluding subsidy given by the government. Okay, nisab untuk padi ialah 360 gantang or 1306 kilogram or 1.306 ton. Okay, so this is the nisab. So you might see nisab for paddy ni different according to state. Nampak tak? The one that I give here, 1306 ni is in Selangor je. Macam Perlis, Sabah, Terengganu, Kelantan, lower, even Perak rendah je dia letak the nisab dia 363 gantang. So you convert lah gantang tu berapa kilo 360 gantang equivalent to 1306 kilo. Okay, so these are the nisab according to state. So for your information, in our calculation, mostly kita memang ikut Selangor. Easier, kita guna satu rate je. So for example, this is how we calculate zakat padi. So total contohnya, total weight of paddy 2000 kilos. Value per kilo 160 sen. So total value darablah 3200 ringgit. So value of zakat tadi 5%. So 3002 times 5%, that will give us 160. Right, so zakat is very minimal. Kalau tengok, in fact untuk yang lain nanti kita akan buat zakat on wealth tu 2.5% je untuk padi yang tinggi sikit. Lain tu tak, 2.5 tu very minimal. Okay, zakat on livestock. Okay, ini animals pula. Compulsory to the owner of the livestock when it fulfills the condition to pay zakat. So what are the conditions to pay zakat? Tadi tu lah, Muslim, full ownership semua tu. So dia kena fulfill the condition. So it is based on the hadith from 40 sheep it is imposed zakat of 1 sheep. Itu Majah punya hadith. That is why untuk goat and sheep the nisab is 40. Okay. So the types of animal are cows and buffalo. So dia lagi besar kan. If you look at cows compared to sheep and goats, this bigger and maybe more expensive. So the nisab is 30 untuk cow and buffalo, 30 untuk goats and sheep, 40 untuk camel, 5. So the haul of the livestock is 1 year. Macam tadilah hijrah or 354 days. So the conditions, okay, dia ada additional condition instead kita kata on top of the condition to pay zakat tadi yang awal-awal tadi tu, ada juga dekat sini satu again must be owned by Muslim of course, and a freedom person, and also condition that need to be fulfilled. Satu, animals must be pastured naturally. Animals should not be working animals. Animal tu dia memang tak guna untuk buat kerja lah, plough the field or lift goods. And nisab must be maintained during the haul. Okay, so memang simpan aset kat simpan the livestock for 1 year, 1 complete year, and mesti lebih dari amount yang ada dekat sini. So if we have cows and buffalo less than 30, not zakatable, tak fulfill the condition. If we have goats less than 40, then not zakatable. Okay, lebih dia kena zakat. Ataupun for every 40 kena satu. I have a table here, contoh. This is the number practiced by prophets as follows. So kalau tengok in general, this is the amount of zakat. For example, untuk sheep, katakan 1 to 39 tak payah. Remember, untuk sheep tadi 40 kan? So if you own less than 40, no need. Kalau untuk setiap 40 sampai 121, okay, amount of zakat in sheep, satu seekor lah. So every additional 100, 1. So this is how they calculate the rate. Ini untuk cows and buffalo. So in Malaysian practice, the farmer is required to pay zakat according to the value of livestock, market value dia. Bukan tadi kata macam ni, if let's say kita kata ada 40 sheep, kena bayar satu sheep, bawa lah seekor kambing tu pergi majlis agama kan? No, kita kira market value. We use the market value. Okay, macam ni lah. Farmer required to pay zakat according to the value of livestock. Mesti kena bayar dalam bentuk cash and not in kind. Not in kind maksudnya jangan bawa lah lembu tu pergi bayar dekat majlis agama Islam tu kan. Tak ada. You have to pay using money, cash. So purpose of proper accounting, treatment and also distribution to zakat recipient. In fact, for livestock ni, this is about zakat. If you learn accounting, there is also what we call a livestock accounting. So ada cara kira market value ni. Contohnya, let's say, because we're looking at, for example, company macam, especially the conglomerates kan, kalau macam not only livestock, pokok pun sama. For example, let's look at Sime Darby. Dia ada oil palm kan, oil palm tree. So pokok tu pun actually kita ada, but for zakat ni kita cuma kira padi, pokok tak ada, pokok lain, pokok palm oil apa semua tu tak ada. But in accounting, there is a livestock accounting, kita panggil sebagai biological assets. Kita katakan dia biological assets because they grow kan. So let's say the moment, the day that you plant the seed of the oil palm tree, harga dia lain. Okay, this is how you want to record in your accounting books kan, because kalau kita beli motor vehicle, kita beli building, kita beli machinery, semua tu nampak kan harga dia, kita beli, that is the purchase price. But for biological assets ni, livestock, pokok semua, it's different because macam saya kata tadi lah, when you plant the seed tu, harga dia mungkin murah je, tapi along the way kita dah water dia, kita letak fertilizer, dia dah besar. So at the end of the year tu, kita kena value how much is the value of that particular animals ataupun plants tu, because that will be recorded in the balance sheet. So harga, before this, maybe time you all belajar paper accounting sebelum ni, very clear cut kan, tengok motor vehicle, equipment, machinery je, tapi tak ada biological assets. But in real life ada biological assets untuk livestock and also plant and trees, pokok getah, pokok kelapa sawit semua tu, because sometimes kita nampak macam okay tak ada apa kan, but consider estates. Macam itulah, kita ada Guthrie, kita ada Sime Darby semua tu. Guthrie pun tak ada, dah kena makan dengan Sime Darby. So that is how they actually record. So they are accounting for trees tu. So untuk pokok tu macam itulah. Katakan pokok tu cukup 4 tahun baru boleh harvest, katakan. So dia kena record first year berapa nilai, second year how much, third year how much, sampailah pokok tu dia tebang ataupun dia normally tebang lah, ataupun animals. Katakan dia pun dia lembu untuk kita kata dairy milk kan, dairy cow. So boleh lembu hanya untuk susu tu je. Okay, so kena kira lah the moment, because nak kena kira pun is quite complicated because you kena calculate satu, the mother tu, okay, what is the price of the mother? Tiba-tiba the mother cow tu pregnant. Bila dia pregnant mungkin harga dia lain lah. Ini bila dia deliver ada babies tu, ada newborn baby, newborn calf tu, that is how kita nak, we have to monitor because for accounting, as you all know, the recording is for every year. So selagi ada haiwan tu dengan company tu, they have to record. And it's quite tricky because kita nampak kat sini value of livestock. Nampak macam simple kan, but let's look at here. Contohnya ada 30 to 39 cows or buffalo. Okay, contohnya type dia bull, ada lembu jantan. At age of animal 1 year or more. So 1 year dengan 2 years ni harga tak sama Harga animal ni tak sama. So it's very tricky nak kena kira. But for the purpose of zakat ni, I just want to show you these are actually the number of cows and the amount of zakat that the farmer has to pay. So kita tak ada buat accounting treatment lah untuk yang ni but just for your information, we have assets that we call as biological assets. So untuk ikan, udang, semua tu ada the accounting treatment dia. Alright, next would be zakat on gold. Okay, yang ni tricky juga sikit because nanti like I said so different state ada different treatment. Alright, for zakat on gold, alright, so obligation of zakat on gold is confirmed by the Quran, Sunnah and also ijma. Okay, so Quran indicates that it is compulsory to pay zakat on gold and silver. So again from Surah At-Tawbah, and there are those who bury gold and silver and spend it not in the way of Allah, announced unto them a most grievous penalty. So Muslim jurists have unanimously agreed throughout all generations that zakat is obligatory on these two currencies of gold and silver. Okay, two metals saja, metal lain tak perlu. So these two metals uniquely zakatable in whatever forms, be in the form of currency, solid bar or unrefined, as long as the weight is above the nisab. So kalau tengok table tadi, saya cuma letak gold and silver. So gangsa besi apa semua tak ada, just gold and silver. So Muslim jurists also unanimously agree that money and gold belongs to the same category. Okay, so latest fatwa ruling has decided to combine gold, money and investment belongs to the same category of asset. During zakat assessment, these three items must be combined. Okay, if let's say the person dia ada gold, ada money in banks, ada takaful, ada investment. Okay, so those must be combined. Okay, and for zakat assessment kita combine dulu dapat total. Kalau total tu exceeding nisab, normally it will exceed lah sebab kita combine banyak benda kan. So then it is subject to zakat payment. Okay, so this is actually the summary for each. Walaupun tadi saya kata kita combine nampak tak A, B, C, D, E, kita combine dapat satu, excess must meet the nisab and then multiply by 2.5%. But for the purpose of us learning, kita akan tengok satu-satulah. So for example, gold, jewelry and investment. So first of all, we have to determine the value of non-jewelry gold savings and investment. Okay, and also women's gold jewelry that exceed uruf. Again, another Arabic word. Tadi dah tengok nisab, dah tengok haul kan, ni ada uruf pula. Okay, so women's gold jewelry that exceed uruf, mesti lebih dari uruf baru boleh bayar zakat. So money in the form of cash and cash equivalents. So money in form of cash ni pun banyak. Sometimes we have savings in financial institution. We also have cash value in takaful and insurance policy. You all dah belajar insurance kan? So kita ada, kita kata cash value. In case kita surrender, how much is the cash value for that policy? EPF savings at the age of 55 and above. Below 55, belum masuk umur retire, tak perlu. But if you are retired and dalam EPF tu ada saving juta-juta tu, then kena kira lah. Hopeful debtor, savings at other places or non-financial institutions. Right? So EPF saving ni masuk dalam kita punya EPF nantilah. EPF yang employee portion tu. Shares and investment at capital or money market. If you buy and sell shares, you have shares at Bursa Malaysia. You have unit trust or mutual funds. Okay, all are considered as share and investment. Adjustment, avoidance of double zakat in the same year. And non-Sharia compliant income and capital gain. Ini semua kita tolak. So sum of A, B, C minus the D. If kita ada certain amount and it actually meet the nisab, then multiply by 2.5%. Nisab tadi untuk yang ni kita ikut nisab gold. Ikut nisab gold. So again, even though the chapter, my discussion made in this topic is one by one lah, clearer and more focused. So mungkin kita boleh continue sikit lagi kita tengok zakat on gold ni. So number one is we want to know which type of gold that are actually zakatable. Number one, we have gold that is not worn as jewelry. Sometimes kita beli tapi tak pakai, simpan je. So not worn as jewelry. Kalau beli dan pakai, contoh siapa-siapa yang pakai gelang tu, so tak apa, dalam satu tahun tu dipakai at least sekali, itu dah dikira sebagai worn. Okay. Alright. So untuk gold that is not worn as jewelry ni, ada juga various kinds of using conditions as follow. Satu, made of gold and silver that is kept as a treasure. And accumulation of wealth such as brilliants and coins. Simpan gold coins kan, tak pakai benda, orang pakai gold coins kan, beli gold coins simpan. Tapi still gold. The jewelry used unlawfully such as men are forbidden to wear jewelry made of gold, silver and any other substance. Zakat is obliged on men jewelry if exceed nisab. So as a Muslim man, tak boleh pakai gold, gold or silver or any other substance ni. Tapi kalau ada, kena bayar zakat juga. Gold or silver utensils, decorations, equipments. So Islam forbids the use of gold and silver as kitchen and dining utensils because there is a feature of a lavish way of living. All item is zakatable. Okay, ini untuk utensils. It is not disputed among Muslim scholars that whenever gold are used in a forbidden manner, they are also subject to zakat. So it is compulsory to pay zakat if gold meet the nisab of 85 grams for gold. It must also meet the how. Mesti cukup 1 tahun. So the nisab is based on Prophet said there is no sedekah on whatever is less than 20 misqal of gold. Okay, 1 misqal sama dengan 1 dinar, so 20 sama dengan 20 dinar. So kita calculate basically macam ni lah, 1 dinar 4.25 gram, 20 dirham 85 gram. So saya dah merahkan dekat sini compulsory if the nisab of 85 grams. So yang tadi kalau kita tambah tadi tu for sure akan lebih dari 85 grams for gold. So mesti meet the how and kena bayar zakat. Ini not worn as jewelry, tak pakai, beli simpan je. Okay, ada juga jewelry made combination of gold with pearls kan, diamond ring, ada gold, ada diamond, ada pearls or any other precious stone. So how to calculate the value of the gold? Kena estimate je lah to determine the weight only for gold. So the rate is 2.5% of the total amount of gold and silver that is exceed nisab after a period of 1 year. Right, kita tengok satu example dekat sini. Husna has 2 gold coins with 20 gram each, 850 gram old-fashioned jewelry that she doesn't wear once. Old-fashioned tak pakai. Broken gold, pun kira sebab dia still gold. And she also invests 10 gram in Sharia compliant gold investment. So this is how we calculate. So 2 gold coins, satu tadi 20, so 20 times 2, 40 gram. 80 gram old-fashioned gold jewelry, 85 gram. Broken gold tadi, saya tak letak broken gold berapa gram dalam ni. Okay, broken gold dia 50 gram. And Sharia compliant gold investment, 10 gram. So total 185 gram. So total semua ni more than nisab. Nisab is 85 gram of gold tadi. So dia ada 185. The total would be 33150. So the zakat would be 2.5%. So inilah the amount of zakat on gold that she has to pay. Ini terlebih kosong 85 gram. Ikut figure dalam table ni. Yang atas ni salah ni, saya betulkan. Okay, you just follow figure dalam table ni. So this one 85. So broken whole ni tadi 50 gram. Alright, so this is how we compute. Totalkan everything, and then this is the value. Because this is the example je, so at least you know how to calculate, kita dapat total weight lah. So this one more than 85 gram, so for sure kena zakat at 2.5%. Right. Second example. So Anis here has 100 gram broken gold and old-fashioned jewelry that she has not worn even once during the year. So ini combine lah 100 gram and old-fashioned jewelry ni, broken gold and old-fashioned. Current value of gold is 190. So total value of her gold is 190 times 100 gram, 19,000. So the zakat that she has to pay at 2.5%, 475 ringgit. Sama juga lah dekat yang Malik ni, keeping say some gold bullion and coin in the safe box. Ini semua gold not worn as jewelry. Nampak tak? Semua not worn. Not worn. Coin. Of course, tak pakai kan? So kalau yang tak pakai, not worn as jewelry, lebih dari 85 gram, kena zakat. Okay, so basically itulah, that's the rules. Not worn, more than 85 gram is zakatable. Okay. What about jewelry that is worn by women? Pakai, beli emas dan pakai di badan at least once a year. Ini you boleh tengok state. So those of you from Kelantan, you must know, mesti ada kan? Look at the customary limit. Uruf is customary limit. Kita kata itu ialah limit customary lah. So normally, contohnya normally in the state of Terengganu, yang dipakai ialah 850 gram. Okay, itu customary limit dia. So when we have gold jewelry that is worn by women, jewelry that is obtained for personal use as ornament and used lawfully by women is not zakatable. Okay, generally macam tu. Beli gold pakai tak kena zakat. However, if the amount or quantity of jewelry exceeds the customary amount, zakat will be imposed. Okay, saya nak bagi contoh satu lah. Kalau you tengok Datuk Seri Vida kan, macam mana dia pakai gold dia kan. Just for example. So gold dia sangat banyak, sangat heavy, sangat besar. So itu kita dah kata lebih dari customary amount. Mana dia orang pakai cincin besar penumbuk kan. So itu lebih dari customary amount. So kalau kita tengok normal people akan pakai cincin, gelang, rantai, anklet or bracelet, itu normal. So that is why in Malaysia kita ada amount ataupun kita kata quantity or jewelry exceed the customary amount, zakat will be imposed. So the terminology yang dipakai di Malaysia untuk customary amount is called uruf. Okay, kalau lebih dari certain amount of customary limit or certain uruf tu, baru kena bayar zakat. For example, in Selangor, uruf is 800 gram. So if you have gold more than 800 gram tapi you pakai, you still kena zakat if you live in Selangor. But if you live in Kelantan, pakailah berapa kilo pun tak perlu bayar zakat, provided that you wear. Tak boleh beli gold berkepuk-kepuk berkilo-kilo, you keep it in your bank or keep it bawah bantal tapi tak pernah pakai. Itu masuk yang tadi, calculation number 1. Now you beli emas berkilo-kilo, you pakai. Contoh paling dekat saya boleh bagi tadilah because saya baru tengok Instagram dia bila entah musim raya ni kan, mak ai rantai gelang semua, dah takut tengok. Itu kalau lebih daripada, tapi dia orang Kelantan kan. So kalau dia ikut Kelantan punya rules, tapi dia tak duduk kat Kelantan, dia duduk kat KL kan. So patutnya kena ikut Selangor, tak boleh ikut Kelantan. No limit. Yap.
Kalau kan kalau yang Kelantan tu punya no limit lah kan. Tapi kalau macam kan yang tu yang asalkan dipakai kan. Contoh kalau emas tu dia boleh bayar emas tapi dia pakai secara bergila-gila. Jadi pembayaran dia macam mana madam?
Dia kira one lah. Dia at least dipakai sekali dalam setahun tu. Dalam setahun dipakai sekali je, emas tu dah masuk dalam kategori one. Kalau tak pernah pakai langsung macam tadi ni, itu masuk dalam kategori number 1 tadi lah. If you have gold, you never worn once in a year, tak pernah pakai langsung, walaupun that is the jewelry. Beli rantai tapi tak pernah pakai pun untuk 1 tahun. Itu consider dalam kategori 1 tadi. Have to pay zakat if the amount is above 85 gram. So here again I set the customary limit pun depending on the state. So Terengganu, Johor, Selangor, KL, nampak tak? Tinggi This is the customary, the uruf dia. Maknanya the higher gold that you get, then only you have to pay zakat. Tapi macam Kedah dengan Perak, saya duduk dekat Perak, so I follow Perak. So Perak susah sikit lah, 85 gram je. Dia follow yang uruf yang tadi. Nampak tak? Those state ni, dua ni, yang follow 85 gram ni, dia follow yang ni je. Senang, tak payah susah fikir. Dia follow yang ni je. Alright, pakai tak pakai, uruf tetaplah 85, nisab dia tetaplah 85 gram. So for Selangor, 800 gram lah. Okay, so calculation kita ialah different. Macam Pahang nampak total. Beza different. Katakanlah, sekejap, I think ada example dekat sini. Kita tengok example dia. How do you calculate? Because kalau Selangor contohnya different. Let's say orang ni dia ada emas 900 gram. Customary limit is 800 gram. Dia hanya akan kena bayar zakat 900 minus 800. Okay, which is 100 gram kan? Darab dengan 2.5%. But for Pahang ni total. Katakanlah you have, the uruf is 500 gram. You have 600 gram. Darab terus dengan 2.5. So dia ambil total. Nampak? Beza kan? Depending on the state. Okay, example. Ini saya bagi contoh ni bukan Kelantan lah sebab kena bayar zakat dia semua ni. Selangor. So here we have Puan Azizah, 900 gram gold jewelry. She want at least once for the whole year. Nampak tak tadi? Siapa yang tanya tadi? Dia kena pakai. Sekali dia pakai dah dikira won. So current value of gold di zaman bilik punya ni 150 gram per 150 ringgit per gram. So zakatable amount that Puan Azizah has to pay is the difference because Selangor practice difference. Alright, so uruf dia 800 gram, Puan Azizah has 900 gram, so the difference would be 100 gram. So assuming the value of gold is 150 gram, current value 150 gram, so we have 100 gram multiplied by 150 gram, total is 15,000, dia kena bayar 2.5% which is equal to 275 ringgit. Compared to Puan Aminah, again duduk dekat Selangor, uruf dia 800 gram tapi dia cuma ada 300 gram je gold jewelry and she wore at least once for the whole year. So her jewelry is not subject to zakat because uruf in Selangor is 800 gram. Boleh faham So nanti kan habis kami tanya mak ada emas berapa gram ni? Cuba kira. Bayar zakat tak? Okay. So this is how we calculate. That is why sometimes I don't know about your mother, my mom dulu when I was small biasanya waktu raya dia suruh pakai, you know, sebab at least when you wear at least once so the value ni kita kira, kita bayar zakat based on the difference lah. Tapi ada juga yang kita memang tak pakai langsung kan, so yang tak pakai langsung tu masuk je dalam kategori. But for me, what I practice is that pakai tak pakai, sebab tak ingat lah ada yang pakai dan tak pakai kan, because you put in one place, so ada yang pakai, ada yang tak pakai. So saya kira semua saya pakai, semua saya kira saya pakai. Dia ke kira tak pakai? Sebab perak dia sama je, pakai tak pakai 85 gram So it's a total dia semua sekali. Saya tak asingkan pun pakai dengan tak pakai tu. Right. This is the real figure sikit kan. Example tadi tu tipu je. Mana ada 150 ni zaman bila ni. This is the gold value as at 22nd May 2021. Nampak? Kita biasa tengok yang 916 lah. So in case you don't know, you biasa dengar 24 karat. 24 karat tu apa gold type kan. So 24 karat tu is the most expensive lah. 999%. 99.9% gold dalam tu. So 24 karat 275.97. Lepas ni nak minta cincin dengan boyfriend Siti nak cakap dengan dia tak main lah 18 karat nak 24 karat. Nampak harga dia. Okay, 24 karat 999.275 per gram. Yang biasa kita tengok, biasa emas yang kita beli dan kita pakai 22 karat lah. Dia bukan apa the difference 999 and 916 ni. 916 ni senang nak bentuk. That is why kalau you tengok you pakai gelang, pakai rantai semua kan, macam-macam bentuk boleh buat. That is when kita gunakan 916 lah. Senang nak bentuk. Yang ni susah sikit sebab dia ada banyak sangat gold dalam tu, 99%. So generally, normally emas yang kita beli untuk pakai is 916. So this is the price as at last week. 252.79. So balik buka lah almari how much gold that you have, and cukup 1 tahun kita calculate lah zakat on gold. So the carat ni based on the purity 24 carat KK ni semua carat lah. Purity of the gold. So this is like I mentioned before, this is the purest up to 99.9% gold, the finest line. So 22 and also kita biasa pakai emas tu 22 carat lah, 916. So the value of gold ni macam mana nak dapat, you can go to zakat institution such as Lembaga Zakat Selangor. So this is the example lah yang saya dapat as at 22nd May. Alright, so kita habiskan zakat on gold ni. So there are certain issues pertaining to zakat on gold ni. Nampak macam clear cut kan, kita pisahkan satu pakai, satu tak pakai, dia want and not want. But what about, for example, gold business? Ada kedai emas. Okay, so for gold business, goldsmith shop ni, zakat is imposed under the principle of zakat on business. Dia bukan kira pakai tak pakai, dia jual emas, so dia akan kita kira zakat based on business dia. So the gold merchandise ni will be treated as stock lah. Untuk macam normal business, jual baju, jual kasut, itu stock dia kan. But for gold, gold is the stock the merchandise yang dia jual. So gold business ni akan follow principle on zakat on business. What about gold investment kan? Sekarang there are a lot of gold investment but you have to be very careful. Some of the gold investment is not Sharia compliant. So for example, if the investment contract is in the form of physical gold, invest in gold, you dapat the gold. So zakat is categorized under gold not used as jewelry. Investment in gold, memang beli untuk investment, but you have the physical gold. In some cases, physical gold is not exist. So this you must be very careful for gold investment in Malaysia. Gold investment yang gold investment ni tak semua Syariah approve. So sometimes you just sign contract kata you beli investment in gold, sign contract je. Gold tu you tak nampak pun, tak tahu kat mana gold tu pun you don't know. You tak nampak gold tu, but you sign this is the gold investment. That transaction is actually unpermissible. Sebab tu kalau you tengok yang saya bagi contoh, I think public bank dia ada gold investment, tapi non syariah, tak syariah compliant. So zakat on money is taken place and zakat is imposed on principle. So kita keluarkan duit untuk buat investment, so you will be zakat based on the money, not on the gold, but the physical gold does not exist. Okay. So not permissible kalau tak ada physical gold, does not exist. Gold used as critical medical purpose, sampai pakai dekat gigi, pakai dekat hidung for medical purposes, not subject to zakat lah. Nanti kan pakai dekat dalam pipi ni ada gold, tu tak kena zakat. Yang suntik-suntik semua tu kan, sometimes dia ada inject certain amount of gold contohnya, so not subject to zakat. Itu critical medical purpose kalau saja pakai nak cantik tu, itu memang tak boleh lah. Gold pawning, rohnu hantar untuk pajak gadai, Islamic pawnbroking for short term collateralized borrowing. So dekat Malaysia kita pakai konsep, kita kata rohnu lah, pajak gadai tu. So based on this Islamic concept, so in Malaysia kita ada Qadrul Hasan. So borrower required to pay only the amount borrowed, rohnu and al-wadiyah. Okay, borrower required to place valuable asset as collateral to get a loan and to ensure repayment. And also ujrah, lender is allowed to charge a fee for safekeeping of the pawn item. So zakat treatment dia, gold that have been pawned at rohnu is still considered as full ownership. Ada rantai, gelang, pergi pajakkan, ambil duit. Itu still considered as full ownership. So the calculation based on the total value of gold minus loan minus safekeeping fees. Unfair lah, you letak the gold dekat pawn shop, you nak kena bayar the total amount of that gold kan. So the calculation is untuk gold pawning ni, this is the calculation dia. Ada puan normal, macam-macam puan ada dalam cerita ni. So here, Norma pawn her 2 gold necklace and 1 bracelet with total weight of 30 gram. Okay. Assuming the current value of gold is 150 per gram, total value of gold is 150 times 30 gram. Nampak weight dia 30 gram, 4,500. So normally for Arwah Nur ni, she can borrow up to 70% of the total value, which is 70% from 4,500, which is equivalent to 3,150. So untuk safekeeping fees, pergi pon Arwah Nur ada ujrah fee, agent fee, dia simpankan safekeeping fees tu 24 per month. So she is now on the 6th month. So this is the zakat calculation untuk pon item 450 minus 3150, amount yang dipinjam the difference je. Safekeeping fees untuk 6 months, 24 times 6. So 1350 minus 144, 1206. So the value must be total up with other asset based on gold nisab, or kalau dia tak ada asset lain, terus times dengan 2.5%. Right? Remember table tadi kan, untuk gold semua kita kena total, dapat satu figure lebih daripada nisab, lebih daripada gold nisab, dan kena bayar 2.5%. Okay, white gold. Banyak orang pakai white gold kan, cantik white gold. Okay, so according to Selangor Fatwa Committee, white gold is not zakatable. Gold je yang zakatable. Sebab dia asalnya gold. So in case you don't know mana datangnya white gold ni, dia ialah gold biasa. Tapi dia go through bleaching process sampai jadi putih. So dah reduce dia punya purity lah, very low resale value. So you beli white gold, kalau pergi jual balik biasanya value tak tinggi dapat lah. So according to Selangor, white gold is not zakatable. Right, money kita simpan next week lah. But I want to show you, I show you apa ni? Lembaga zakat Selangor punya calculation. Alright, nampak my screen Okay, so this is how kita buat tafsir zakat. This is Lembaga Zakat Selangor. That's why I said whenever you can go to Majlis Anggota Islam, Lembaga Zakat state masing-masing and tengok. So contohnya untuk tafsir zakat. Katakan kita nak kira zakat emas. Okay. So in Selangor, nampak dia letak macam ni dah. Jongkong emas, shilling emas, kepingan emas. How much you ada? Right, sijil pelaburan emas patuh syariah. Emas perhiasan wanita yang tidak dipakai. Emas perhiasan wanita tapi dia nak jumlah atas huruf sahaja. How much is the difference? Sebab Selangor tadi dia pakai difference kan. Let's say dia huruf dia 100 gram. So you ada 900 gram, so the difference is 100. Tak payah letak 900 kat sini tapi letak 100 je. Kalau ada emas dicagarkan. Okay. So ini jumlah untuk zakat emas. And then wang simpanan. Okay, wang simpanan, engkau simpanan, engkau semasa, deposit, simpanan di takaful, insurans, baki EPF ketika umur 55 tahun. Lain-lain tunai, peti besi simpanan kat rumah, hutang boleh terima daripada penghutang. Okay, masukkan amount. Saham dan pelaburan kalau ada. Okay, saham pelaburan termasuklah saham biasa, warrant, unit trust, pelaburan tanah. Jumlahkan A, B and C. Ini yang tadi yang saya kata. So for in Malaysia, zakat ni kita combine emas, wang and also investment. Gold, money and also investment. If kita ada pelarasan yang macam tadi lah, kalau ada double zakat amount ke, and then kita ada penentuan zakat, penentuan nisab. Okay. So penentuan nisab ni jumlah keseluruhan harta dia, kalau lebih daripada nisab, adalah kena layak kena bayar zakat. So dia you just key in je. Dia dah, but you have to weigh lah your zakat, your gold berapa gram semua kan. You kena kira sendirilah. And how much your wang simpanan contohnya, your saving, let's say you saving ada dekat 3 bank. So combine lah semua tu. And also you have shares. Ambil juga ada amount, tambah-tambah, and then dia akan calculate for you. Jumlah zakat anda setahun. Dah dapat satu amount, you boleh terus bayar dekat sini je. From the website. So you don't have to go to the counter ke apa, tak perlu. You just click. And then buat online banking je, terus bayar zakat. Very simple. Any question tak? Boleh I really hope that you get, because this is something that we can apply in our daily lives kan. So balik boleh tengok, okay, kalau gold macam ni, kalau ada investment macam ni. Okay. Alright, so far okay. So because kita ada banyak lagi, I don't think kita boleh continue ke dah 10:30 pun kan. So I think untuk money, shares and also zakat and tax planning, I will continue next week boleh So since today belum habis topik ni, so tak ada quiz lah today. And your assignment tu is actually due this Sunday. Saya dah update the date dalam My Guru. And please upload your report together with YouTube link. And I really hope that you can share your YouTube link. Cuma letak je lah you from which group. Share dekat WhatsApp group kita pun tak apa. So that your friends can view your video juga. And easier for me to trace your video untuk marking nanti. Alright, and today saya jalan terus je, no break at all, dah 10:30 dah. So thank you very much for today. If you have no question, then I will see you next week.
Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam.
Stay safe semua, jangan merayau.
Thank you, Madam.
Alright.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Alright.